Okay, this is about my third or fourth effort at raising brine shrimp. I can successfully hatch them, but I'm having problems raising them to adulthood. I've got 15 litres of water in here. I've salted it with 10 grams of salt, sea salt, per litre of water, so I've got 150 grams of sea salt in there. The temperature, I don't know if you can see that, is currently just under 30, so we're looking at about 29. I'm going to try and keep it at between 25 and 28 if possible. It's very difficult with the small heater at the back there, which doesn't seem to heat very well at all. I've got my hatching kit just there, and I've already added approximately half a teaspoon of grade A Salt Lake brine shrimp in there. We're looking at about 85% hatch rate coming from those eggs apparently. Again, the water is salted in the hatchery. I've also used some anti-chlorine, anti-heavy metal solution in there, just letting the eggs soak down for, going to give them about 10-15 minutes just to obviously rehydrate before I start bubbling them up. Then if you can see at the side there, got a bit of a few floaters at the top there. Don't know if you can see them in there. Okay, I've got my air pump ready. I'm using a small, I think it's about 80 litres per hour air pump there, which is quite adequate. As I say, I've only got 15 litres in there. I've got a T-valve on my air pump here, which I can obviously regulate, increase the flow, decrease the flow as I see fit. Okay, so as I say, once I've rehydrated the eggs for about 10-15 minutes, I shall turn the bubbles on. Okay, so I've given them about, well, I've made a guesstimate actually, I've given them probably about 10 minutes now, just for the eggs to settle down a little bit. Still a few floating at the top. Don't know if you can see, let me come down here. There's a few floating at the top there. I'm just going to give them a little shake, just to get any that are settling around the top surface of the water that have stuck to the inside of the hatchery start to rehydrate, so just sink into the bottom there. As you can see, I'm using an in-tank hatchery pure and simply because I can regulate the temperature of the water slightly easier. The whole setup is therefore slightly less space saving. I am an amateur to this, fortunately still learning how to raise them to adulthood. As I said earlier, quite easy to hatch them, but then raising them on to adulthood is another story altogether. So hopefully I'm going to share with you my successes, my errors, and hopefully kind of work out a way of raising them successfully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, on my T-valve, just going to start to turn it on, hopefully to get a few bubbles going. Just slowly turning it on. Some people say you basically need a rumbling boil, like a cauldron. Just like that. I don't want it too ferocious. Obviously you need to keep the eggs suspended in the water at all times, hence the reason for an air pump. got a few sticking around the top here, I think. So I'm just gonna give them a little shake here just to get any stuck on the side just down into the water. As you can see, the colour of the water is kind of a muddy brown, pure and simply because it's full of eggs. When the eggs hatch, normally between, well, depending on the temperature, probably 12 to 24 hours. I'm trying to keep my temperature, as I said earlier, between about 26, well, 25, between 25 and 30. They recommend the Salt Lake eggs, anything between 29 and 30. For the first maybe 3 or 4 hours, if possible, try and just give them a little shake there, because until they're fully hydrated they will stick to the top there. I don't know if you can see, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't want them bubbling too ferociously, but kind of like a bit of a cauldron there. Just to keep them swirling around. So hopefully you might start to see a few hatch after about 12 hours. But hopefully between, well, 24 hours, I'll give it 24 hours, should start to turn a nice orange colour in there as all the eggs start to hatch.